1023.com. Now live to Johnny's New York Style Pizza in LaGrange to give you the inside scoop on Troup Tigers football.
Welcome to Johnny's Pizza here. I'm your host, Greg Hicks, along with head coach Tanner Glisson, and we'll be talking about last week's victory and, of course, what we look forward to this week as we go play the Cartersville Purple Hurricanes in the All-It-Stakes Region Championship for Region 5 4A at Georgia High School football. But, you know, Coach, back to Friday night, went up, and we thought we left the rain here and the mist here in Troup County, and as we traveled north, we got to about Franklin. I don't know about you guys, but we got there. Jack and I left about 5:15, and all of a sudden we hit mist again, and it was a heavy mist all the way until halftime.
Yeah, it was real nasty and real sloppy, kind of how we played, and so but it was one of those games. It probably did us a little good to kind of be in that element just a little bit and handle a wet ball, but I'm sure it wasn't fun for the people sitting in the bleachers.
Well, I tell you what was really fun at halftime and after the game, Jack and I got to witness a really good Central band. I mean, they are just –
yeah, they are
They
good.
had like 9 tubas, so these guys – and I'm trying to think. I told my wife they won some Golden Globe awards. She said, no, honey, it's not Golden Globe. It's something. I said, well, they won some big awards, put it that way. But, I really felt like that we were going to at least – I expected blue skies. Mm-hmm. It just didn't happen, but it did – for about halftime and midway through the third quarter, maybe the entire third quarter, it was okay. It calmed down. Then the mist picked back up to the point where, you had water dripping off your jacket. It wasn't raining. It just felt like it, Right. But it did make for conditions tough. I didn't know how the field would react. It's a turf field. But I didn't really see a lot of guys slipping,
the field was in good shape. Of course, it's turf, so that beats playing in the mud.
Oh, absolutely.
But the guys handled it just fine, and, it was just one of those things that just a little bit of adversity. It was probably that first really kind of cool Friday night, and it was raining, so it feels like it's a little colder than what it probably is. And so, but, we got on through it pretty good.
Well, we came through, and congratulations on being the first Troup team in Troup high school history to go a 9-0 record, and I know the players loved it. They had a chance to write themselves in the history book, as you told them last week, and your name as a head coach will go with that as well. So, speaking of history, when we come back, I want to talk about it's part of what we're going to do tonight. I want to talk about a little history that I've dug up on the Tigers. But with that case, we're going to take a short break. You're listening to the Troup High Coaches Show live from Johnny's Pizza here on the Parkway. You guys come on out and join us. Grab you a pizza. We'll be right back on Eagle Sports.
It is sell down time at Nissan of LaGrange. Richard Cates here, General Manager with Nissan of LaGrange, and it is time to start moving out all of our 2018 inventory to make room for the 2019s. That means the best savings of the year are taking place right now. Have you been hesitant to look because you're waiting for the perfect time? Well, now is your chance. You can visit Nissan of LaGrange on the Parkway or check us out where we are always open at nissanoflagrange.com. Visit soon to receive great pricing and the great experience our customers have come to expect. Nissan of LaGrange, your friendliest hometown dealer.
The Medicine Cabinet is excited to announce the opening of their third store in the Lee's Crossing community at 1704 Roanoke Road in LaGrange. Stop in and meet the staff. Pharmacist Tommy Whitworth will be leading the team. They offer home delivery inside city limits, a drive-thru, and no long lines to wait in. Check out their medication compliance programs, a safe and efficient way to organize medications. Their coffee shop will be opening soon. The Medicine Cabinet is a locally owned pharmacy, plus a little more.
At Wellstar West Georgia Medical Center, we believe teamwork makes all the difference in your health. We believe that skilled people can achieve higher standards and exceptional results. We believe in a game plan that's focused on patient safety and quality care. At Wellstar West Georgia Medical Center in LaGrange, we believe in life well lived. To learn more about award-winning healthcare, visit wellstar.org/WGMC.
In 1916, Auto Owners Insurance teamed up with local independent agents so customers could get fast, friendly, local service.
Bravo!
It worked so well, we decided to keep it that way. And 100 years later, we still do things the same way, by teaming up with local independent agents who deliver quality, personal service. Some might call that old school. But then again, maybe everything old is new again. Kind of refreshing, isn't it?
Mallory Agency at MalloryAgency.com. For all your insurance needs, it's the Mallory Agency.
Deciding to sell or buy a home is a big step. To make sure it's the step in the right direction, choose the person best qualified to handle your real estate needs. Joel and Rob Upchurch have been breaking sales records every year since 1997. They truly are the real estate leaders in West Georgia. So take a step in the right direction. Contact Joel or Rob Upchurch at RE/MAX Results because they are dedicated to results and converting transactions into relationships.
Going to run the option back to the near side. Good pitch. Going to the corner. Touchdown, Tigers.
Nice pitch out to Trey Williams, who had a pulling guard, and Brody Messer had pulled over and to help block on the outside, and Hunter Bass and Gabe Hubbard just created holes on the toss pitch, left-handed from Kobe, flipped it over to Williams. He's 6 yards into the end zone for the Tigers touchdown. Comes at 10:27 in the first period of play.
And there you go. You know, they snuck in on us, Coach. They came back with a little highlights, and we had done that historically, but none this year. And it's like, oh, sneak in on us. And Jack always likes to call it during our post game. We kind of go over some highlights, and it's kind of a nice way to wrap things up. But it also brings an added flavor to us.
Sure, absolutely.
Is you kind of, and the kids like to hear that their name called on the radio as well. But you started out. Kind of took care of business to start with. But, Central, they just weren't going to go away.
No, and I said on the show last week that they're very well coached. They may not have some of the horses that the other teams in the region do, but Coach Smiley and his guys do a tremendous job. And we thought they would be a little bit more gap scheme with a little bit more, buck sweep type stuff, wing tee, and they came out running a lot of triple option. And so we – I think I told you at halftime we had to get into halftime, make some adjustments, and we did that. Once we came out in the second half, I think there were 4 straight possessions that either 3 and out or we got the ball back. And so, but kudos to his guys, and usually with a team like that, you coach them really, really hard. But if you don't have the dudes, it kind of, through 4 quarters, it kind of catches up on the end. Yeah. But all due respect to those guys because they played very hard, played very well, and we were glad to get that one behind us and sitting there still at 9-0, undefeated, and get ready for this next one.
Well, and I noticed that, Helson Martinez, you had him kick into a particular zone.
We did.
At one point in time, of course, I'm down on the sidelines, really close to where he's kicking. And one time they actually didn't take the 35. They decided to have him to kick it again.
Right.
Then in one time, they let the ball land on about the 5-yard line and just sit there for a second or two. It's like, I think they realized, I better go back and get the football because that was a live ball. So it's kind of neat the way it just kind of like a 9-iron. It just stuck there.
Yep, he did a good job. He's done a good job for us all year long. You'd like to see a couple of those balls, 1 or 2 that he kicks out of bounds, get it back in that deep corner down there.
Yeah.
But so far so good on that. And as much as we've had to kick the ball off this year, which is a good thing, we get out of our fits. We try to play a lot of guys, too. The one you talked about that they re-kicked, we had our 3rd kicking team in there.
Oh, really?
So we had our JV guys in there. So,
all right.
they were happy because we put them all in, and then they kicked it out of bounds.
All right, we can do this again. Oh, but we can do it again.
That's right. So that was kind of a good thing for them.
Good. I like that. And we commented, it's been 3 to 5 years since we've been to Central. And I don't think maybe it's just been 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, but it seemed like forever. But they've got a really nice facility.
It's really nice.
And I mean, you look around when you come into their school, they've got a beautiful building and facilities, beautiful grounds and baseball field and soccer field and football field.
We dressed in the gym, and the gym's very nice as well.
That's true. That's right.
All in all, Carroll County, they do a good job of supporting athletics and facilities for schools and stuff, and so it's a real nice place.
That's right. Well, I forgot we went up there for several wrestling matches, and then, of course, they got the field house there in the south end zone. Super facility, and just something to be proud of. And I say all that as Troup High School, day by day, you get to see that progress. And for us and for the fans that don't get to Troup High either at all or very rarely, we appreciate those posts because it's like, wow, you see it every day. You notice now that the steel's going up.
Yep.
But, man, for us fans, it's like, this is going to be a game changer.
It's step by step. Every day is getting closer and closer. So we're excited about it, and to get to see the progress and see it go up in front of our eyes is just really, really neat.
And the thing is, and Corn, as a proponent of this, I personally think it's not just about football. As my son wrestled 4 years, I think of the revenue in econ that'll come in through wrestling tournaments or volleyball tournaments.
Well, you think about also the situation that we're in now where we have one gym for a quad A school.
Yeah.
So you have one gym during football season. If it's inclement weather, volleyball teams probably in the gym, or now basketball teams in there, or even think about boys and girls basketball, trying to practice one and the other one has to wait till dinner time before they can start practice.
And you want to add in the mix at this time of year, you're pushing wrestling practice. Right. Competition cheer has been going on a while.
Yeah, exactly. So you got all those things going on.
Yeah.
And so we need those upgrades on facilities, and thank you to the people who voted for that. And it's going to be a state-of-the-art, first-class facility.
Well, I know we're excited about it. Well, getting back to football on Friday night, again, they gave us as much as we wanted, and we went in at halftime, and like you said, it looked like the fullback was getting a little honey hole up the middle, and he was able to take advantage of it a little bit, and they were actually giving 33 the ball more than I thought that they would, but they found a little sweet spot, and then you guys can make some adjustments, and like you said, it was nothing. They couldn't figure out anything to do. So, but you're looking at our region the way it pans out now. As of today, of course, you've got only because of alphabetical order, you've got Cartersville on top at 5-0 in the region, 9-0 overall. Troups 5-0, 9-0 overall. You got Sandy Creek by virtue of they actually beat Cedartown Friday night, and it looks like they'll wind up going in third seed because I believe they play Central. They do.
They will. They'll have the third seed, and that Chapel Hill Cedartown game will be for the 4 seed.
That's right. And automatic, you kind of, us, not you, but us common fans, when we look, we say, Chapel Hill, they were 4-0 coming into the Troup game, and then they kind of tailed off. They've been kind of haphazard, it seems like, in their approach to some of these games, and they wind up, and, Chapel Hill's got a 6-3 record, so they've only won 2 ball games in the last 5 ball games, and so they're 2-3 since playing Troup. So you start wondering, man, can they do it? And all of a sudden, they're going to end up with Cedartown. They may actually go in 4th seed, and Cedartown, the hard fought that went in 2nd seed last year, may be out of it.
Yeah,
so
it's
it'll
a
be
very,
interesting
very
to see what happens.
Competitive region, that's for sure. We talked about that all year long. And, top to bottom, these teams will get after you, and they're all very well coached. So, this is going to be interesting to see how that pans out.
Well, and then, of course, going into looking forward, even past next week, because bottom line is, whatever we do this week, we're still going to the playoffs. So we're going to match up in the first round only. We're going to match up with Region 8. And so St. Pius is already, by virtue of their victory last week, and I want to say it's over North Oconee or either Oconee County, they wound up finishing first seed. North Oconee's already taken 2nd seed. And more than likely, because Oconee County is playing Madison, who he just had an 0-3 region record this Friday, the end of the season, they'll probably win that. So, well, Stevens County has to finish up with St. Pius. They might. It'll be tough, but let's assume they don't. It may finish up St. Pius, North Oconee, Oconee County, and Stevens County in that region. So let's hope that we wind up going up and finishing first and win our region championship. We talk about a little history. That'll be the first region title in over 31 years for the Tigers. Last one being in '87. We would wind up going in and playing the number 4 seed of Region 8, which we assume would be Stevens County. So let's be positive and think in that term. But a lot of action the other night. I noticed you had only one guy that might have he kind of rolled over either on his leg at some point in time, and he was unable to come back in the second half. Hopefully he's going to be okay this week as we prepare for. And we've had a lot of important football games in the last 3 years, especially. They've all been important, but specifically very important games. And I can't think of another game that lends itself to the importance as this coming game Friday night against Cartersville Hurricanes.
Well, it's important. It's important for a lot of different reasons, but in the whole scheme of things, it is, you want to be county champs or city champs, and you would like to be region champs. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think both Cartersville and us are probably looking down the road.
Last man standing.
That's Right, and so, we'll just see how it plays out. The last time we went up there, of course, we were totally outmatched and didn't play well. And so even last year when they came down here, they got out to such a fast start, and we tried to claw back a little bit, make it competitive, but they just really ran away with it. And so they just do a great job up there. I think this, I don't know if he'll agree with me or not, but this might be Coach King's one of his best coaching jobs. You lose the number one player in the country.
That's true.
And you lose as many seniors as they did, no drop-off, to come back, and their defense is just so good. They're always in the right places, and the quarterback continues to get better, and they're just really well coached, and those guys are going to continue to prove throughout the season, even into the playoffs, I believe.
Well, you made a comment last week, too, and let's go back to that one when you say, the strength is basically yes, it's important what you did in the regular season, but once you make the playoffs, it's what's your history in the playoffs? How deep did you go? How many playoff wins did you win? And did you make it to the semis, the quarters, the semis, and maybe even the finals? That's where you start talking about the true strength of a program. And I guess you're right when you come down to, it's great. I say the importance of Friday nights because it would be nice to win a region championship.
Well, yeah, I mean when you hadn't done it in 31 years, it would be nice. Cartersville's probably got 5 or 6.
We don't even want to go there.
in the last 5
I started to pull that date. I don't think we want to know that.
I can tell you it's a lot. And so, when you have not had a region championship in 31 years, I'm sure it means a lot to the people here. And, of course, the kids have never been alive for Troup to win a region championship.
True.
So
that's a good point you make. Most of them, none of them were born in 87. None of them. My daughter's 30, so I keep thinking, that means I'm getting a lot older, Coach.
Yeah. But, so I'm sure to the people here at Troup, the Troup faithful, that's very, very important. But we're approaching it just like any other game. We've had a lot of big games this year for one reason or the other.
Yeah.
And so this is another big game in a hostile environment against a great program. And so we'll see. I don't think they've lost a region game, maybe even a non-region or region game probably in forever.
It's been a long time. You're right. I've read that. I tell you what, before we start going to break, and since we're talking about the Cartersville game, my buddy Jack Mormon, play-by-play announcer for your Tigers, said Friday night after the game, well, coming up is the Collision in Cartersville next Friday night. So he was asking for royalties or just an extra-large T-shirt today since Mud Creek Graphics has decided we would be cheaper by giving him a T-shirt instead of paying him royalties. But we've got a T-shirt, and you look up the Troup High Touchdown Club the Facebook page. You can get all the information, but basically the logo is Collision in Cartersville, where it's got the two helmets crashing together, and it's throwing up some cracked up helmets, but all for the region championship Friday night here in Cartersville. You guys would love to have you buy one, support it, whether you go to the game or not. But if you go to the game, love to have you wearing it. With that, I'm your host, Greg Hicks, along with head coach Tanner Glisson. We'll be back at Johnny's Pizza here on Eagle Sports.
Hi, football fans. Jonathan Moose Map here from Glenn Smith in Opelika, Alabama. We love this time of year with all the excitement of football, and we also love that Glenn Smith can play a part in supporting high school sports. We support the team, the coaches, the band, the cheerleaders, and of course the families and the fans. At Glenn Smith, we're proud to be your local Chevrolet Buick and GMC dealer with over 500 new and used vehicles every day. Online 24/7 at glennsmith.com. That's Glenn Smith Chevrolet Buick GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
What do you see when you look at your home and your car? Do you see a bundle? A combo deal? That's how other insurance companies see them. But a State Farm agent sees so much more. Because a State Farm agent sees your home and your car as more than just 4 walls and 4 wheels. They see the things you've worked really hard for. So why not give them the protection they deserve?
Your State Farm agent is Matt Orr on the square in downtown LaGrange.
There's a secret to beating injuries or ailments. Get the right team. Emory Southern Orthopedics' well-trained, experienced doctors, nurses, and staff are that team. These teammates listen and understand your specific condition and provide high-quality hometown care that will get you back into your game. For more information about Emory Southern Orthopedics team, visit www.southernorthopedics.com. Deciding to sell or buy a home is a big step. To make sure it's the step in the right direction, choose the person best qualified to handle your real estate needs. Joel and Rob Upchurch have been breaking sales records every year since 1997. They truly are the real estate leaders in West Georgia. So take a step in the right direction. Contact Joel or Rob Upchurch at RE/MAX Results because they are dedicated to results and converting transactions into relationships.
There's the kick. Very shallow for them. Ball's on the ground, now picked up at the 20. Around the left side, 25-30. Now they're running downhill. 40. Down the sideline, 50. 40, 30, 10, 5, looking for flags. Touchdown, Tigers!
A kick 6 by Trey Williams. He caught the ball. He actually attempted to catch the ball at about the 14-yard line. Kind of slipped through his hands. He was able to pick it up on the 17, follow his blockers on the Troup sidelines. What a wall of blockers. I stepped down the field, and nobody from Central could catch him. 65 yards later, he's into the end zone for a quick 6 for the Tigers score, 27-14.
You know, that's the way to come right back, Coach, and answer that. You know, they put 6 on you, and you come back and do a kick 6, and that was, I don't know, it took every bit of about 8 seconds to make all that happen.
Yeah, and you know, we didn't even block in the back or anything. You know, so.
You know, it's sad the first thing you look for, something like that happening, you start looking for penalty flags.
Yeah,
like, yay, no flags.
Yeah, no flags. We didn't block in the back. You know, so this one stood, and so,
you know, we opened the game with a was it about an 82 or 88-yard touchdown kickoff return. They wound up throwing a flag on us.
Yep. So, but you know, all in all, that was a good answer, though. So
yeah. Well, I like that, but let's talk about. We've got maybe about 8 or 9 minutes, and a little bit about the Troup history here. That, and I want to give credit where credit's due. A good friend of mine, Scott Sickler, LaGrange High graduate and longtime employee of LaGrange Daily News. And when you mention high school football in the state of Alabama and the state of Georgia, the guy knows history. So you know, give him credit for that. But we're talking about region titles for the Tigers in 1972. Back when guys like Billy Joe Kennedy and Carl Whitfield was playing. I wasn't around here in 86, but I understand maybe George Brewer was playing in the 86, 87 area. We won some region titles, but it's been since 87 since the Tigers have won a region title. A little over 30 years for sure. First ever state playoff game, you're looking at 72, and we lost to Central of Thomasville. Then you go back to playoff games in 86 and 87. We lost back-to-back to Worth County. But then first state win come with Coach Jeter's team back in 04 against Doherty. We made it all the way to the semifinals in the Dome, which that was huge. We played Oconee County, and Ben Taylor kicked a field goal that helped us over the edge and put us in the Dome. And of course, they ultimately lost to Statesboro, and Statesboro, being the state champion, wound up beating Dalton pretty handily that year. But you know, it's been a while. Several region playoff games and state playoff games through at least 84, and I'm going to get a little bit more history as far as that goes. But the last, Troup also played LaGrange in a region title game in 96. We lost, and of course Cartersville in 16-17, and of course this year will be for region title games, and hopefully we'll this year being big.
Yeah, those didn't turn out too well, I'll tell you that.
Well, you know, you mentioned earlier we went up there 2 years ago, and we had certainly had high hopes, and I think maybe in your second year with the Tigers, and they were riding high, and maybe they were still learning how to play and how to win in these big games.
Well,
and it snuck up on us, I think, in the first quarter.
I don't think it snuck up on us. I think that, number one, you're playing a bunch of sophomores, a lot of young guys. Mm-hmm. You know, you had a veteran quarterback, but a lot of these guys that are going to play Friday night started or played a lot of minutes in that game. Yeah. You know, and Cartersville was just so much better than we were, and we knew that going up. Matter of fact, I think one newspaper right here quoted me as saying that we were going to go up there and win the game, and that was so.
Not that they needed any bulletin board material.
That couldn't have been further from the truth. It's a funny story how that went down, and I'll tell it just because the writer's not there anymore. But a local newspaper here in town, a sports writer, it was notorious for asking the same question about 20 times, 20 different ways. And so he actually followed me off the practice field and just kept asking me, how are you going to keep the clock from, getting a running clock, or how are you going to keep from getting beat 50-0, and then, this is the best team in America, and blah, blah, blah. And we understood that. We knew that. But
like you needed him to tell you all that.
Well, finally, I just looked at him. I said, listen, we're going to go up there with the intention to win the game. If not, we just stay here at the house.
Yeah.
And but next day in the paper it said, Troup coach guarantees victory. And I had no clue. And we got up to Cartersville, and they weren't too happy with me, and I don't think any of the coaches talked to me. And I came back and told our coach, I said, God, I don't know what we've done, but these coaches are mad.
And at that time, you had no clue, right?
Well, and then somebody let me know a little bit later, I think through maybe some thing on some message boards or type stuff that this article came out, and so I ended up having a conversation with the guy that wrote the article. But we were taught a hard lesson. I just hate the kids had to learn the lesson from me.
Well, and previously I said snuck up. That was a bad choice of words. Basically, it's we got up and within the first 4 minutes or something, we were down 14-0, and I'm thinking, Lord, this is going to get ugly.
The last 2 years, we were just totally, and we may be Friday, I don't know, but we were just totally out of our league. I mean, those guys, program-wise and stuff, heck, I would have bet you any amount of money last year that they were going to win the whole thing last year. I mean, they were as good as anybody that I had seen play pretty much in any classification.
From a sidelines looking in, if one thing, if we'd have scored right before halftime, it would have been like a 10-point game going into halftime. Well, we didn't. But, again, what I saw was some bright opportunities.
I will say this. We fought hard.
Yeah.
And I think at that point you're talking about we were down like 21-17.
It was something like that.
I hate to break your heart, but we probably would have got beat about 80 to 30 or something.
I understand, but still.
but the fact that
feel good.
Well, the fact that we kept fighting, kept battling. But, those guys were just so much better than we are or were. And, and this Friday night, hopefully we've made up some ground on those guys. Because, those are the guys that everybody's chasing.
That's kind of your measuring stick.
Yeah, absolutely. And the great job that they do. And so hopefully we've made up some ground over the last couple of years. That was our goal. I wish we had them here at home. I think it's going to be real tough to go to their place and win. But, we'll see how it plays out Friday.
Well, and like you just said, I know there's a history there, but as far as region games, it may have been 10 years or so. I want to say it's like 40, high 30s or 40 games that they've won. And I may be thinking about home games there in Cartersville.
No, I think you're pretty much right with the region. I think the region games and all that. It's been a while, a long time.
So losing at their stadium in Cartersville, they're unaccustomed.
Well, I think they lost the playoff game there last year to Blessed Trinity.
Okay,
but just talking about regular season, region championships, they have a long string of wins.
Wow,
and so it's going to be a.
Well, you have to admire that. You have to admire that.
Oh, 100%. Well,
yeah.
it's kind of like Alabama. Everybody says they want Alabama, but I don't know if they really want them.
Are you sure you want some of that?
That's right. So, Cartersville's kind of the Alabama of
high school, Georgia
of Quad A,
Yeah.
And at least of our region.
Yeah.
And so
I don't think anybody in Quad A would argue that Cartersville deserves all the accolades they've got, especially on their history. If they were 5-5 right now or 4-6, you'd have to be hard pressed, but they're not. They're 9-0. So as you said, hey, maybe one of the best, and it's a good reason. You're taking some guys that weren't as good as what you've seen the last 2 or 3 years, and let's face it, not everybody. Every day a kid like Trevor Lawrence comes along, and I'm not talking about just him by himself.
Well,
it's the defensive linebackers they have.
If Trevor Lawrence had never played at Cartersville, you would be talking about how good the Webb kid is. You'd be talking about that kid.
Somebody because they focus so much.
Yeah. But Trevor, he's a once in a generation type kid.
Yeah.
He'll be a. I told somebody the other day that he'll be a first round. like the number 1 pick in the NFL draft at some time. If you're playing on a video game and you're designing a quarterback, he's got everything from
height,
but even
arm.
the off the field attributes and stuff.
Okay.
What a great kid he is, and the morals and values that he stands for. He's got everything you want. So he'll make a lot of money one day, and he's a generation kid. But you would be saying to yourself, man, this Webb kid is really, really good, because he is.
Well, I think when we went up there 2 years ago, he was like an 8th grader. No, actually, he was a 9th grader at that time. But the coaching staff was telling us that, he was already had offers and looked at as an 8th grader.
Yeah.
So, you know what?
He's enough.
Hey, about Cartersville, that's great. We know who they are. But you know what? Hopefully after Friday night, at least the state of Georgia will know who the Tigers are, if you don't already know. Friday night, 7:30 in Cartersville, down on Main Street. Leave here, takes about 2 hours. Go up I-75, 85 to 285 to 75, and you're there in Cartersville. Troup Nation, Tiger Nation, we expect you to be there. Come on up, help celebrate Troup High's accomplishments thus far. And like I say, hopefully we'll come away with a region title Friday night. So if you can't be with us, certainly listen to us here on Eagle 102.3 or 96.9. But either way, we will see you guys next week here live from Johnny's Pizza at 8 o'clock. I'm your host, Greg Hicks, along with head coach Tanner Glisson. We'll see you guys next week. And go Tigers.